Meeting training needs. When it comes to actually filling that training gap and meeting people's training requirements, there's three main aims that you're looking at. First one is meeting that immediate need. There's going to be some area of skill or knowledge or behaviour that needs to be addressed. The second one is reinforcing the learning that somebody's done. And the third one, which is your ultimate goal, is to actually lead to a change in behaviour, to actually make a difference to the way somebody does their job. There's absolutely no point in somebody doing some training if ultimately it has no results and no measurable impact on their effectiveness in their job role. The most effective way of meeting training needs is through a blended learning approach where you use a whole range of methods that are going to be appropriate to different circumstances and different individuals. When it comes to meeting that immediate need, the most obvious method is to go on some form of structured learning, usually a training course. Those are great for having a lot of information in a short space of time. So these can be open courses, public courses, or they can be tailored in-house methods. Of course, the only downside of training courses is that within a few days or a few weeks, people tend to forget what they've learned. This is why it's so important to actually reinforce people's learning. There's a range of ways that you can do that. I would suggest things like reading, quite straightforward, doing some e-learning or internet research, basically reflecting on what somebody's learned, giving it more thought and just building up more knowledge and information there. Watching videos or DVDs, another excellent way of doing that. So a range of things that are put together that's really going to build on what people have learned and reinforce all that so that they don't forget it all. In order to make sure there's been that behavioural change, all of this needs to be translated from principle into practice in the job role. So this means doing, for example, on-the-job learning, action learning, learning by doing. A very good method is using action learning sets. This is where a group of people can get together and exchange ideas and information and support between themselves on what they're actually putting into practice, what they're learning and doing. There's also a range of tools that people can use for individual personal development, a way of increasing their self-awareness so that they know what it is they're good at doing, what it is they need to work on, to know where their own strengths and development areas are, and also to have a good awareness of maybe how they best learn. So for example, they can do a range of psychometric tests, occupational personality questionnaires to really get a good understanding of their preferred or typical ways of behaving at work. Motivational questionnaires, learning style questionnaires. Other tools such as Belbin's team styles or the Myers-Briggs type indicator. All of these things will really help people understand how they learn best and what sort of learning methods are going to be most appropriate to them. Only by putting all these things together are you really going to make a difference to somebody's levels of skills, knowledge and behaviours and how they actually put that into practice when they're at work. Of course, if you're putting in all this investment, then you need to make sure you're getting a return on it. And that means having some hard measures and knowing how you're going to measure those results and that impact on your organisation. For more information on actually how to evaluate the results of your training, see our session on training evaluation.